Hey, how goes it? Ken Bozak from the BitcoinPodcast.com, here to talk about Bitcoin and Bitcoin accessories. And today, I'm here to talk about these, well, Litecoin mostly, with Ben. Hey, Ben, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Let everybody know who you are. Let them know how you got into crypto. Let them know maybe what you do now that you are into crypto. Let them know where they can find you.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Bitcoin Ben, your favorite truck driver and cryptocurrency lover. I originally got in, or I recognized Bitcoin and heard of it about 2009, towards the end of like 2009, out in the middle of the country. I was actually driving a truck and I heard an interview of this guy. And to tell you the truth, I can't remember who it was or anything, but he was explaining this like cryptocurrency and like this Bitcoin, and it sounded really cool, but apparently in order to actually purchase it, you needed to fucking go to like MIT or something. Oh, that wasn't really going to work for me. And then I've always watched it, but I never had any money to really do anything with it until recently. And so I have been actively involved in it for I'd say seriously around January or February. And I just want to let everyone know that I have a speech impediment.
I
So
couldn't
if
tell.
yeah, well, if it sounds like shit, it's either me or it's your connection. And so it doesn't really matter.
That's awesome.
So, uh, and I share a lot on Facebook. So if you want some entertaining play-by-play and what I think is actually coming in the cryptocurrency world, you can check me out on Facebook. My name is actually Ben Semchee. Benjamin Semchee on Facebook, Semchee. And anyone who's watched one of my videos, it's not professional, but it's interesting and usually pretty funny.
Yeah, it is. And you know what? You get hundreds of views on those Facebook videos, and you're pretty active in that Omar crypto news group. And between the people that I follow, and they all follow you. So what you're talking about on Facebook. I wish you would focus that more on YouTube and channel that towards some ad revenue and make yourself some money because you're getting the hits. You're right. You're entertaining, but you're also full of some good information, brother.
Yeah, I just don't like YouTube. It's slow. It's clunky. It's uh, I like when I have an idea, I hop on my phone. I I hit the app. I hit go live, and I'm on. And and I like that. And I'm not really worried about the money. You know, in fact, uh, what really attracted me to cryptocurrency wasn't the actual money. It was the way it represents freedom, and how for hundreds of years the average person has relied on a currency provided to them and forced to use a currency that we actually don't control. And that really pisses me off, and it always has. And cryptocurrency and Litecoin and Bitcoin and Ethereum, although Ethereum's not really a cryptocurrency more than it's a crypto commodity. Uh, so I like the revolutionary aspects of the cryptocurrencies more than I'm worried about the actual money.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, you know what? Let's talk about the money, man. Like, let's talk about Litecoin here. Who invented Litecoin?
Okay. Charlie motherfucking Lee. I love that dude.
You dude's like
That
a
guy,
hero.
he's a extremely intelligent, awkward superhero. You know, he if you've ever seen him in an interview or anything like that, he's so intelligent that whenever he wants to explain anything to any average human, he has to actually dumb himself down. And that's when you know you're smart.
Yeah.
But
So, actually, I follow him on Twitter. I think he follows me back. I'm gonna have to ask him to come on the show sometime when I get over my celebrity stage fright when it comes to Satoshi Light, aka Charlie Lee. He's like I said, he's kind of like a hero of mine because I fucking love Litecoin. But you know what, dude? Why don't we tell people, or maybe you can help people? I have the list in front of me if you want me to take it from here. But could you describe the
no, no.
difference between Bitcoin and Litecoin? Like, you know, the differences?
Oh yeah. Oh dude, I love me some Litecoin. Anybody who has watched any of my videos, I love Litecoin, and not only because of Charlie Lee, but how uh, he put a lot of energy and a lot of logic into his coin. He kind of looked out into the future and said, "All right, there's already Bitcoin, which is the actual gold of cryptocurrency. Why don't I create the silver of cryptocurrency?" Uh, and so what he did is instead of 21 million, there's 84 million, and uh, the rewards on easy for me to say. Uh,
I love you.
the rewards for the miners is a little too bit different, and it's so much quicker. And the
Yeah, it's like
uh,
4 times faster, right? Instead of every 10 minutes for Bitcoin, it's every 2.5 for Litecoin.
right, the blocks are actually processed different, and the the hash, he used a completely different hashing algorithm than Bitcoin, which uses less energy to have a higher hash rate.
So yeah, for the record, that is Bitcoin uses the algorithm SHA-256 as opposed to Litecoin using the algorithm Script.
Yes, yes.
And I like that the block time is 4 times faster. The difficulty increase is the difficulty retarget is the same, but the block reward details is matches the block time. It's 4 times as many blocks. So Bitcoin gets their halving every 210,000 as opposed to Litecoin being halved every 840,000. So that's another thing. Like it's very like, you know, it matches the Bitcoin mathematics very well, and it's the things that
Yeah.
are different about it, you know, keep it close enough to the original.
Oh yeah, it's in fact, let's see, Litecoin is very much like Bitcoin, and that's why it's so easy for uh, like ATMs and places who accept Bitcoin. It's easy for them to change a few lines of code and also accept Litecoin.
You know what? That brings me to another question. Like, why use Litecoin when I could use Bitcoin? Like, what purpose does Litecoin serve when Bitcoin's almighty?
Well, there's a few reasons, especially recently, is is Bitcoin uh, was was never really, well, I guess it was planned to actually evolve slowly into a regular use cryptocurrency. But as we know, Satoshi Nakamoto is no longer around, so it doesn't really have a leader more than it has groups. And when you have groups, you have conflict, and when you have conflict, you have problems. And unfortunately, Bitcoin has had a lot of problems lately, and I think that Charlie Lee kind of may have anticipated that and and created Litecoin to kind of help along the way, and that's one of the um, segregated witness was was actually put on Litecoin first because everyone was so freaking nervous about putting it on Bitcoin that Charlie Lee was like, hey, let's try it on Litecoin. And if it totally fucks up Litecoin, then we won't use it on Bitcoin.
Yeah, so Litecoin is like the petri dish and experiment, for Bitcoin. Before anything dangerous happens to the Bitcoin network, Litecoin's probably going to test it out and make sure everything works and get all the kinks out. One of the main reasons why I like Litecoin over Bitcoin is the cheaper fees from peer-to-peer. So if I wanted to send somebody $1,
Oh, yeah.
I'm not using Bitcoin to send somebody $1. I'm using Litecoin to send somebody $1.
Yes, and what's crazy is it's even getting cheaper. Wait until Litecoin is on the Lightning Network. It is going to be a fraction, and even sometimes it's going to actually be free. Like it won't even register, uh, and and that will be amazing. Whenever using the Lightning Network on Litecoin and eventually, hopefully, Bitcoin, uh, the Lightning Network is going to provide super quick transactions, uh, and the fees, at least on Litecoin, will be already are.
Yeah, I think not a lot, but I do know one or two places using Litecoin, and one of them is Yours Network. They're using it for micro transactions. They're using like a Lightning Network on their closed little ecosystem for Litecoin micro transactions. So you can send a penny or half a penny, and that's not doable with Bitcoin. And that's what really intrigued people at first. I could send somebody a penny without it costing me $30. And Bitcoin kind of lost its flutter there, but once Bitcoin gets its Lightning Network figured out, it'll get cheaper again. But until then, that's why I'm with Litecoin over Bitcoin for certain transactions, and I think that's why platforms like yours and other networks that want to do it, they're going to end up using Litecoin.
I heard a rumor, and you might want to check this out. I think yours actually may have switched away from Litecoin, and they are actually going to be using Bitcoin Cash now.
Oh man, I got to look into that.
Yeah, I hope it isn't true, but I did hear that from a pretty reputable uh, person I watch on YouTube. I hope it isn't true because Litecoin, they should use Litecoin. That's what it's there for.
Yeah, I remember interviewing him, and he was saying that that they have they do have it in place to where they could change it. But when I did the interview, we were talking about it, and it looked like they were going to be using Litecoin. I wonder. I'd like to get them back on. We can talk about that. But anyway, back to Litecoin. Do you think Litecoin will ever outperform Bitcoin in market cap?
Oh no, no way. It's I think that Litecoin, as of right now, to the average person, is, and this is only my opinion. You're talking to a guy who drives a truck and can't talk. So take that as you may. In my opinion, the average person who isn't rich, if you had a choice, if you purchase Litecoin or if you purchase Bitcoin, I would say right now you should purchase Litecoin because your cost per unit is lower, which means you have, if you plan on holding it long term, your growth would be at a higher rate using Litecoin.
So what do you think about, let's jump into our price prediction here. What do you think Litecoin will be worth by the end of the year? And what do you think its yearly percentage in gain per coin, in volume would be compared to, say, Bitcoin in the same time period?
Okay. This may take a few minutes, but when you hear it, it will make sense.
The floor is yours, brother.
All right. Thank you, sir. I think that Litecoin is going to be at about 380 to 420 dollars by January 1st. And this is why. All right. Once Litecoin hits 100, which I think will happen probably over the next 3 weeks. Once it hits 100, it's off to the races. And I don't think it's going to gradually sneak past 100. I think it's going to run over 100. It is going to happen, and it's going to happen quick. And once it does, once Litecoin breaks the $100 mark, that is a huge psychological uh, uh, point that once you break it, and especially now that we have Ethereum over 100, well over 100, 300 and whatever now, and you also have like Zcash and Monero, where 100 isn't that big of a deal anymore. And once Litecoin hits 100, I think that people are going to start to recognize it as what it is, and they're gonna look at it completely different, and they're gonna look at it and hear how closely it resembles Bitcoin and how it is the silver and all that. And I think that people are going to start looking at it not only as a coin that you can use every day shopping, but it also holds the attributes of holding actual long-term, uh, uh, long-term actual value. And once that happens, which I think will happen right after it hits 100, we are off to the races. And I think from 100 up to 300 and 400 and 500 is only going to take maybe a couple months.
Yeah, you know what? One of the reasons. Whoa, echo.
That's not me.
All right, let me see something. Nope. All right, hopefully that doesn't happen again. Sorry about that, everybody. So yeah, one of the reasons I thought Litecoin, and this is why I got it. I heard the announcement about Litecoin going over to GDAX and Coinbase, and that was when Litecoin was at $4, and
Yeah.
I bought some, and then I heard another announcement saying that Satoshi Lee was quitting Coinbase, and I was like, oh shit! So I bought some more, and I've been buying it because it's the cheapest coin per unit on Coinbase, which had announced they have like 1 million new wallets being people signing up like a month or something. They said, or 40,000 that could overflow a baseball stadium. So as soon as they were talking numbers like that, I was like, what was that?
The Coinbase adds 40,000 users a day.
Yeah, so when I saw numbers like that and the prices like that, I was like, all right, so when people come in, they're going to say, hey, I can get more quantity of coin for this amount of dollar. And if it moves up X amount of percent, I could gain more actually because I have quantity over, quality at the time. And, new people coming in are going to try to buy whole coins because they don't know you can't, you can buy half. So they have the mentality they're bringing from the traditional market in here. I got to buy a whole coin. So they're like, oh, I got to buy a whole Bitcoin, or I got to buy a whole Ethereum. And they're looking at Litecoin like, damn, this is cheap compared to everything else. And it still is. So that's why I'm buying it and accumulating Litecoin, because it's still, in my unprofessional opinion, undervalued and over, exposed. It has so much exposure. And, it's to me, like Dash being more per unit than Litecoin, that's just not right. Litecoin is destined to be up there.
Yeah, and in order to really grasp what is going to go on with Litecoin, because it isn't only actually going to be Litecoin, it's going to be the overall cryptocurrency world. It's and anyone who's watched my videos understands that in January and February we hit 3% of public knowledge saturation, and once you hit that, once you hit 3%, you launch. That's whenever this is really, really going to get crazy. And there's so many things leading up. All right. A perfect example is last week on Wednesday or Thursday, I don't know what day it was, I actually made a video and I said this weekend is going to be a crazy weekend. There's going to be jumps like we haven't seen in a while. And how I knew that is I watch not only the cryptocurrency world and like who's adding coins on where, and like what country is creating regulations, and where are all of these platforms launching, when are they going live, and all that. That's all I do all freaking day. I'm a truck driver and I have nothing but time to like listen to all the podcasts and all the interviews and all of the news, and so I have like an overview of everything, how it's like playing out, and not only that, there's so many other things that you really have to look at, and as in a prime example is I think that this weekend coming up is going to be another crazy weekend, and I'll tell you why. The reason I think so is because uh, a lot of jobs, when you reach a certain income, you're actually paid once every month. All right. And a lot of those jobs are actually paid the first of each month. And I know a few very, very intelligent people who make very good money who have structured that every time they actually get paid, a good chunk of money is automatically put into the cryptocurrency world. And I think that that's reaching a point where you can almost rely that there's good. And if you look at the charts over the last like couple of months, around the first of each month, there's a little jump up, and it and uh, and each time it's a little bit more, and it's a little bit more, and then it's a little bit more. And I think that this month, around Friday, which is September 1st, I think that there's going to be a large little jump on Friday. And then I think on Saturday and on Sunday, there's even going to be more of a pump up. And I think this is going to start to actually be a regular occurrence where every weekend, because even regular people who, because let's remember, Coinbase has added so many more people. And I think that those people are watching this closely now. And they're like, how can I get more money in there? And so every Friday, they have it automatically withdrawn out of their checking account when they get paid. And it goes right into the cryptocurrency world. Now, that many people every Friday doing that is going to create at least a wave or a ripple. I hate to use that word because I hate the coin, but uh, every weekend from here on out, and I think we're going to start to really see the growth get going here. And I think last weekend was an example of maybe what an average weekend will look like in maybe a month.
Well, I sure hope
And
so.
and I know that sounds crazy, but you have to look at it and use logic. You know, if Coinbase is adding all these people, then you got Jim and I, which Jim and I, if you're listening, add fucking Litecoin, you stupid bitches.
Yeah, they're missing out on trades for sure.
Oh, they definitely, and I don't understand if they don't like Asians or what. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
You know
But
what, though? It's hard because a lot of markets have different regulations, and maybe they just don't feel like dealing with those, over there. But back in not too long ago, every other couple months, Bitcoin was, illegal in China, and it was just FUD every other couple months. So, a lot of people stuck away from it for a while. Maybe Gemini's got to get around to it. You know what, though?
yeah,
You brought up a good point, man. You brought up a good point earlier where, people that have a lot of money, it's not very convenient or easy or damn near actually possible for them to buy even $10,000 worth of Litecoin in one sitting. It's not easy for people with a lot of money to convert it into digital assets like Litecoin. So, maybe you could help people and tell them a couple places where they can actually turn cash into Litecoin.
uh, I well, I think the easiest way maybe would be let's see, something like local uh, uh, bitcoins.com, and hope that you find a person who actually has other cryptocurrencies like Litecoin. And there are some ATMs which also have Litecoin. Uh, you'd have to like look at each one and find out if they offer Litecoin and also Bitcoin. And if they only offer Bitcoin, that's okay. You know, uh, purchase up your Bitcoin, then hop on. Uh, hop on your Exodus wallet and just switch it over to like Litecoin or whatever you want to switch it over to.
Yeah, there's a couple other ways, I guess. Like you could use a Jax wallet for the same, you know, maneuver. If you buy
Yeah.
Bitcoin and like you could, yeah, like you said, local Bitcoin. That's a good idea, man. But you buy Bitcoin on local Bitcoins, use that, and maybe send it to your Jax wallet right there, and exchange it for the other asset or your Exodus wallet. But yeah, I like how you said that because I'm a big fan of wallets with built-in exchanges, and I can't stress enough to people to just stop using exchanges immediately.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, trading looks good, man. People love making money trading, but regulation is coming, and these exchanges like Bittrex or Bitfinex and stuff, and Bittrex locked me out of my account. Poloniex, Kraken, man, all these exchanges are gonna just exit this country with all of our money, man.
he uh I never swing trade. You know, uh, uh I guess I'm not smart enough to, or something like that, or maybe I'm looking long term. You know, I'm not looking. Oh, look, I made $100. You know, no big deal. It's I'm looking long term. This is a retirement fund for like my great grandchildren. Oh, it's and it uh now what the hell did I want to say? Oh yeah, and people really need to wrap their heads around how quickly this is going. And I've explained, and if you watch my videos and you go to my Facebook page and you friend me or you like me or you follow me or you fucking kick me in the nuts, I don't really care. It's watch a couple of my videos and I think you'll understand why I'm almost every single day I'm on and I'm explaining why, you know, even if you only got like $100 or $20 or something, put it in because it's going to be worth it. You know, every week that you get paid, whatever you can, you know, like 10 or 5 or 25, just slide it in there and watch it grow. Because this, and I actually said this when I was on your show last time. We're not in a bubble. This is not a bubble. This is a transition. It, it if you understand the evolution of currency, then you understand exactly where we're at. We are evolving away from fiat currency into cryptocurrency. They'll coexist a while, but then fiat currency will be irrelevant, and also the governments of the world will have printed so much of them that they'll just inflate themselves away.
So what do you see, or not what do you see, but when do you see mainstream adoption taking place, and maybe in what industry first?
When you say mainstream adoption, what is your definition of mainstream?
All right, so here's my example of how I would answer the question. So mainstream adoption and in what industry? So say music, the music industry, the artists, where they want to sell their music, they want to display their content and claim copyright and everything like that. What if they decided to make a platform based cryptocurrency, and that platform gave artists those means, sort of, what if it's like a Steam it for artists or
Oh,
whatever.
okay.
And the music industry adopts cryptocurrency in the aspect of artists don't use iTunes, because iTunes takes 30% per purchase as the cut. And the artist doesn't even get the 70% because they have to pay the label gets paid, and they maybe make a penny. So the artist can eventually cut out the labels. They don't need any big record company behind them. They could do, small, be their own label and sell the content themselves, and that would be like an industry that adopts cryptocurrency in a mainstream manner.
Yeah. The example you just used is not what I'm talking about. I'm actually talking about cryptocurrencies, and you're talking more of like a platform uh, that rewards
Well,
talent.
I'm looking more at like blockchain as a technology and not
Yeah,
so much as a
yeah.
currency. Yeah, and that's how I truly see it. I don't really see Bitcoin as money. I know it can be money. It is in a sense money, but it is so much more than money that like it's just hilarious how cheap it is. Like I look
Oh
at
yeah,
the value of
yeah.
Bitcoin and I'm tickled. Like I'm like, people don't get it, man. Like most of the people that have Bitcoin are holding it because it's money to them. And I'm like, yo, just wait till it's used as the code that it is used, and wait till it does find the quote unquote killer app. And that's it. Game over, guys. What if Bitcoin is
Uh,
used for social security numbers or domain names or real estate? The real estate market is screwed right now. There's so many things that could use blockchain and open ledger technology, that the
yeah.
fact that we only use this for a monetary system is like, it's almost like barbaric. Like it's really weird that we're like still, I feel like we have such a great piece of technology, but we're still using it to like chisel shit on a wall like a caveman.
Well, I would argue we have the killer app. The killer app is actually Bitcoin. It's an it's the app that is going to run over every other currency, at least in the fiat world. Bitcoin is going to eat the rest of the currencies up, because that's what technology does. It eats uh, it eats away the little inefficiencies, and then it eats away a larger chunk of the inefficiency. And then once you reach a certain point, the inefficiency goes away, and people recognize it as ease of use. And that's a point where we will reach. I think we might have reached it uh, actually a couple days ago, because there's a wallet, and I know you use it because I've heard you say it. The Exodus wallet.
Yeah,
Uh,
I've interviewed the CTO.
oh yeah, great interview, by the way.
Thank
Uh,
you.
and uh, and they are going to have an app out in maybe 2 or 3 months, and they're so focused on UI, user interface, uh, that when they launch that wallet and it's on your phone, that's going to really just help launch. And another thing people really have to look at is as this grows, all right, if you have an iPhone, if you look on your iPhone, there's already a wallet in there, and it says wallet. Who in the fuck uses that right now? Not me.
Nobody.
No one uses the wallet app. Why the fuck is it there? What I think is really going to be a game changer, and I've never heard anybody say this. What happens when you can actually purchase Bitcoin over iTunes? You know, or what happens when you can actually purchase Bitcoin on the Amazon app? It's people are looking at this in such a small view. It's like they're trapped in time, and they're like, man, all these prices, wow, this is crazy. I can't believe how much everything's up. Are you fucking crazy? This is just the beginning. We aren't even playing the game yet. We're getting warmed up. The band's out on the field entertaining the crowd. The teams aren't even playing yet. This is just getting going, because as this grows and these prices jump up and more people notice, you mean that Amazon isn't going to jump on the fucking bandwagon? Of course they are. And when you can hop on your iPhone or your Android and you can actually purchase Bitcoin from iTunes, which I am calling it now, you will be able to. It would be so easy for them to create that fucking feature in their app system. It would be retarded. It would take a coder a couple of days, then a couple of weeks to run a few tests, and then whammo, iTunes is an exchange. And once that happens globally, and it's that easy, holy shit.
You're
is this
absolutely
going
right.
to take? And
Yeah.
it's and that's why people watch my. I think the last one I put out on Saturday or Sunday, I put out a video. It has over 4,500 views on Facebook from just people sharing it. It's because of how I explain it. It's so huge. I mean,
You know, maybe I'm too doom and gloom for all this, because you know what? When you say iTunes may sell Bitcoin or whatever, you know, they want a cut of a lot of things, and you know, Bitcoin threatens their current business model. Cryptocurrency, blockchain technology threatens, you know, the iTunes profit, you know, system that's designed for the.
No, you're looking at it wrong, buddy. You're looking at it wrong.
But I'm thinking, like, why would they support Bitcoin when, you know, selling Bitcoin would only lead to me being able to use Bitcoin to buy an album somewhere else where it would be cheaper and the artist could get more of their money than using the iTunes store to even buy an album with Bitcoin on iTunes. The iTunes app, the store is still going to take 30% of that transaction before the artist gets that cut. And I'm just, I'm always just a little like, we're disrupting a lot. This technology is
Yes.
literally disrupting everything.
Right.
So like when the automobile came out, they only had one enemy, the horse and buggy companies, and that was still almost like didn't happen because of all the money that just the horse buggy industry threw against the automotive industry. Now we have Bitcoin coming in, and it's disrupting not one, systematic company, industry, or whatever, but like everything that currently has a profit model is going to have to reevaluate the way they make money and the way they exist in this world and interact with goods and services that it's going to be hard to get any like buddy like Amazon and
No, no,
Apple to
no, no,
play
no, no.
ball.
No. Look at Mark Cuban's a perfect example. A couple of months ago, he's like, fuck Bitcoin. Look at him now. What's he doing? He's evolving. These guys are businessmen. They don't care what type of money they got as long as they got the money. They don't give a fuck if it's actually gold or fiat or Bitcoin or whatever. As long as they got more of it, they're happy. They have no loyalty to the actual U.S. dollar. They aren't walking down the road saying, "I'm going down with the dollar ship." The fuck that. They're going to hop on this boat just like we did. It's once, because I think what happened with him is somebody kind of pulled him aside and explained it to him. And
Yeah.
and once they understand that no matter what they do, Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are going to take over. It isn't if, it's when. And I think that's what's actually been going on this whole year, since about April, maybe March, is a lot of rich people all of a sudden went, "Oh fuck." And then they're like, "All right, well, this Ethereum thing looks good. This real slender guy here who looks like a fucking alien, he's pretty smart. Let's toss a little money at it." And then once they wrap their heads around the technology, that's when they went, I mean, fucking balls deep into it. And as they do, these are businessmen. Their whole job is evolving with markets. And that's how they make their money. And like I said, they have no loyalty to the dollar. They don't give a fuck what they use. If they use Bitcoin or Litecoin or whatever, they just care about profit. And profit represented in either US dollar or Litecoin or Bitcoin, they could give two shits about it. They just want profit on the bottom line.
See, this is why you get thousands of views and a shit ton of shares of your videos on Facebook, because you're right, man. That was a great way of explaining that. I guess I could see the light. You know what, though? Another thing I'm probably doomy and gloomy on is the fact that we do know who created Litecoin, Satoshi Lee. And, sometimes I'm worried about my boy. I'm worried that, the fact that we know who created an alternative currency to the US dollar, we know their identity. This is why Satoshi stayed anonymous, and when they found who they thought was Satoshi, because I can't remember his first name, but middle name Satoshi, last name Nakamoto. That poor guy, they raided his house, man. They took his computers and they just, on the assumption, on an assumption that he was the creator of a digital asset. So like, I'm just worried that, because we do know who Satoshi who Satoshi Light is, Charlie Lee, the creator of Litecoin, that actually does prove to be a benefit to Litecoin, but also a potential negative to Litecoin. What do you think about that? What do you think could possibly go down?
Not worried about that at all, and this is why. if they actually got rid of Charlie Lee, number one, just because you get rid of Charlie Lee, that doesn't do shit to Litecoin. And even if they got rid of Litecoin, all right, now we got to get rid of Zcash. All right, now we got to get rid of, fucking Bitcoin. This is a revolution. I don't give a shit how many people they take out, as long as there's one person left who has the idea of cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency will eventually roll over this world, and it will absolutely take over. And I don't care how many people they shoot or they arrest or they kick their doors in. Fuck you. We are taking our currency back, whether it's now or later. That's up to you guys. And if you want to evolve with us, that's fine, but you'll never fucking defeat us.
Yes, I agree. I always say that if anybody government wise tries to take my crypto, they're gonna have to waterboard me because this is mine, man. It's my choice to not use the U.S. dollar. And you know what? That does kind of worry me though, because our military forces other countries to use our U.S. dollar to interact with oil transactions. So I'm like, shit. You know what? What about the moment another country decides to use Bitcoin or some other digital asset to buy oil from a foreign country? And we end up going to war against Bitcoin in the sense of how other countries purchase oil, because one of the main reasons the U.S. dollar even has any value is our military forces the whole world to fucking use it to buy oil.
Exactly. And ask, all right, anyone in the chat room, has anyone ever held a gun to your head and said, all right, motherfucker, you are buying a Litecoin? Or, all right, motherfucker, you're using Bitcoin. Or, hey, motherfucker, you're using Dash. No, this is a currency of free will. And free will always eventually conquer tyranny.
So, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt there, but I wanted to get to a question here. Like, what wallet do you use? Or, let me start with that first. What exchange, like, how do you get your Litecoin? And then where do you store it? Like, do you use a hardware wallet or a software wallet?
I'm kind of weird. I use an old well, not really old. I use a laptop with a wallet on it, this wallet on it. There's nothing else on that laptop. That's it, is my Exodus wallet. And the only time it's hooked up to the internet is when I want to do an exchange on my wallet. Other than that, it's unplugged, off, not hooked up. It's one very large treasure.
That is a big ass treasure.
Yes, it is. But it's just what I like. I grab it, I put it up here, whatever. If I want to move this or I want to buy that, I do it. I unhook it, I put it away, I hide it. I hide all of like my phrases and my keys and I got hiding places all over this place where if anyone hypothetically broke in here, good luck finding my shit. Because it is nowhere to be found.
I have a lot of different wallets because my portfolio is pretty vast, and I keep getting more and more comfortable with my holdings, and I keep getting, more and more expansion in my holdings. So I have probably like just 5 to 10 different wallets. How do you keep track of all of your assets?
All of the assets I hold, I had a few of them that weren't available on the Exodus wallet, and now they are. because Exodus put out a new wallet called Eden, and that actually holds all of the coins I hold right now.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, that's what I did. As wallets add assets, I try to, you know, consolidate them and get them more organized. Right now, not too many wallets are holding things like Neo, so I have to use a separate wallet for that. I have the Waves wallet and several tokens on that platform, so I need a separate wallet for that. You know what I mean? So it's just like, oh my God, man, it's just such a nightmare to keep track. So I basically just have an encrypted thumb drive with everything listed and all the information I need. So even if the thumb drive was stolen, they still need to unencrypt it. So hopefully it'd be fine. But yeah, it's starting to get easier to, you know, move everything into one convenient space, especially with things like Exodus and Jax. Hey, what's up?
Hey, I have to do a shout out to one of the young ladies who listens to my videos. Her name is Yvette, and she's on your chat right now. And I actually talked to her earlier. She's a wonderful lady, and she is in Houston, Texas, which we all actually know like what's going on down there. And I just wanted to say that shout out. I told her I would do a shout out.
No, awesome, no problem. I hope she's, you know, safe and well in Texas right now. I hope everybody the best. You know, maybe that's another thing. Like I always think about cryptocurrencies and how, you know, smart contracts could provide a true non-profit charity where once the code is written, the code is the charity. It organizes the ins and the outs, and people can vote on where it goes based on, you know, the contribute to the network or something. I'm excited for cryptocurrencies when I hear of events like this and disasters, and I'm just like, you know, you want to send money to an organization, and you know that only 20-30% actually make it onto the streets to solve the problem.
Here's an idea. All right, now this may be in the future, and for God's sake, someone way smarter than me would have to actually lay this out. If you created an application where, say, there's a tragedy in Houston or LA or something like that, and you sent a Litecoin or whatever, and people using the GPS in their phones could have a charity app. And as soon as you send out your Litecoin, it would fractionalize into an equal fraction on each of the applications on each of the phones. And then they would equally accumulate phones. That way that the donations would not hit anyone except the actual people affected in that area using the GPS on their phone.
That would be great. Unfortunately, I already thought of like ways that you could probably use your phone to lie about where you're at and cheat the system in that sense. You know, it would have to be, you know, yeah. It's so unfortunate that you have to think of those things. I hate that my mind goes right to the fucking negative, man, but it always does.
You're so fucking negative, dude. Get a blowjob.
I know, right? I need to relax and not worry. But that's what I do, though. That's why I'm such a big fan of John McAfee. You know, like when he says, like, you know, we're screwed. I see it. I know. Like,
oh yeah,
all these smart cars that are easily hacked. Like, go on YouTube right now and watch how a smart car can get hacked by a kid in a laptop, and they could crash your car into a tree if they wanted to. And it's not hard.
Me, I know.
But that's what made me fall in love with crypto, man. You know, I heard about Ethereum, and I was like, wow. You know, it's a network where the code has value. There's security behind behind the code, behind, you know, the network. And I was like, well, that's why you can't use Windows 7 for smart cars. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to have a smart car, you might want to be using the Ethereum blockchain, not Windows fucking 7 that can get hacked easily and get your car crashed. And that's what actually appealed me to the Internet of Things. And then I got into Bitcoin, which was the Internet of Money. So, like, those are the real world applications I see. I'm hopeful that that's the world I live in soon.
This is how I view it. There will always be people who are shitheads. And there will always be really good people who help out other people when they need help. And I have a saying that I say, like my wife and my kids, is as long as you do right, you're not wrong. And it's absolutely true. It's as long as you do right, whatever you think right is, it may not work out exactly perfect, but and I'm sure you've had this happen in your life, Ken, where you have a person that you don't even really know help you out of the blue. And you don't know why they did it. And you're wondering, what the fuck? You know, why would they help me? Why would they do this for me? This makes no sense. Would I do this? Would I have done that? But what you have to look at is, I think that we're all kind of connected to each other. We just haven't really realized how yet. I think eventually we will, but it's I think at your lowest point, there is someone out there who has a little tingle that lets them know you need them. And somehow, whether it's the universe or whether it's God or whatever, whatever it is, we're all really connected. And I think that when you need the most help is when it comes. And whether that's right or wrong, I choose to think that there's a lot more good than there is bad. And so that's why I'm a pretty happy-go-lucky person, because I choose it. I choose happiness. Because if you walk into a room and you choose all of the negatives, that's what you'll see. And if you walk into a room and you see all the positives, that's what you'll see. It's what you look for in life is what you see. And so I choose to look at the positives of every single situation. Even if it's a bad situation, you look at the positives. Because if you look at the negatives, you will find them and they will bring you down and you will feel horrible. And when you feel horrible, you lose your motivation. And when you lose your motivation, what the fuck's the point? You know, we're all here. None of us have all the answers. We all got a lot of questions, but not a lot of us have answers. But so you answer your own questions. You know, what actually makes me happy? And whatever makes you happy, as long as you don't hurt anyone else, just do it. Who cares what people say and who cares what people do? What makes you happy? Because that's the only thing you really have control of in life is your happiness. That's it. Because happiness is chosen by you. You choose to be happy. And as long as every single day you wake up, you make that choice, and you look over at your wife and you smile because she hasn't left your ass yet. But I'm not worried about my wife leaving because I actually have her chained up right now. She ain't going nowhere. But
if I spend any more time doing crypto stuff than I already do, I might be in trouble.
no, your girlfriend loves you to death. If she didn't, she would have already left you.
You know what, man? You made some great points. This has been, a great interview. Wanted to ask you, what would be something you would want people to make sure they took away from this? Sort of like wrap things up, sum things up. What do you think everybody listening should, what should the takeaway of this conversation be?
You got it. This is what I want everyone to realize. Everyone in cryptocurrency is trying to improve cryptocurrency. We are trying to move forward. And all of that accumulated effort is leading us where we're going. And look at where we're going. We have made leaps and bounds, especially over this year. Our collective effort has led us to a point where we're all enjoying the ride, and everybody's choosing free will in a representation of cryptocurrencies. And free will, like I said, will always override tyranny. And everybody just keep positive and get ready. We're getting ready to go on a wild ride because this thing is not slowing down. It's only speeding up. And once we hit January and February, you guys are basically, every day you wake up and you check your fucking block folio like I do every 10 minutes, you're just going to look back and you're going to go, oh my God, what is going on? And that's when you recognize and you really realize that all of this collective effort has led to a tidal wave of results.
Very well said. So you guys better strap on your seatbelts. This rocket's about to take off any day. You know what, Ben?
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much for coming on, man. Why don't you tell everybody one more time where they can find you on the YouTubes and the Facebooks, and we can get on out of here and get a beer or something.
Yes, sir. All right. On Facebook, just look me up. Benjamin Semchee, Semchee. And if you want to friend me or follow me and watch my videos, I usually make one every day. I usually make about 2 or 3 of them every day. It's pretty crazy. And on YouTube, I am known as Bitcoin Ben. I wish they would have chose a different name for Bitcoin. I have a hell of trouble with bees.
Oh man. All right, Ben. Let's get everybody wrapped up and have a day. Thank you so much for tuning in, Ben. Thank you so much for being on the show.
All right. I really appreciate your show, Ken. Thank you.